NightCap recap. What up, players?
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is the NightCap recap here on Specialty Media. You get our clips up on Instagram, NightCap recap. Jim Biringer, Teddy Repantis, we're back again, but we got a special dedication for this episode. Shout out Dumont, Honus School. Shout out to Mrs. Saplicki, second grade teacher. She passed away. The show is dedicated to her, one of the best teachers we had growing up. Some sad news to start it off, but we want to keep the positivity here. Not easy time for the family. We know them really personally. I know them all. Shout out to C, both C's that I know. And Mrs. C, you were the best.
Absolutely, Jimmy. I echo those sentiments. That was our second grade teacher, and the fact that 30-plus years later, we still remember the lessons that were taught to us in that class. I'm pretty sure that was the first class that allowed us to bring our wrestling figures also into class.
Absolutely.
So shout out to Mrs. C for letting us do that. I remember specifically bringing in some figures, you, DiGirolamo. We were talking about Devils and Rangers even back then and wrestling, and she was cool with it. And then I saw in her obituary, there was a great quote, Wizard of Oz, it's not about the places you go, it's about the people you meet. I feel like the fact that we can remember all these teachers that left an impact on us, dating back to elementary school, high school, wherever it may be, was a testament to how good of a teacher she was. So that's our hometown, Dumont. Mrs. C, this one's for her. Rest in paradise, I'll say that.
Rest in paradise, baby, because guess what? She let us do wrestling in the classroom at one point. Like, it got out of control, but you know what? It was fun time. We learned a lot of cool stuff. We had a lot of fun, a lot of laughs. And it was awesome, always going back and checking it out. And when we were just roaming the hallways, always good to see Mrs. C there.
And NightCap recap, we know where we came from. We talk about a lot of things on here. We're always going to throw it back to our hometown of Dumont, New Jersey. So this is us shouting out our hometown and all the people that we grew up with and know and love. So absolutely, man, great times in that second grade class.
Absolutely. So from that, we're going to kick it off the show. We're kicking it off hot. We had Black Monday in NFL spilled over into Black Tuesday because we knew there was going to be some coaching changes. Obviously, coming out of Week 18, there's always some coaching changes. They were talking about it Sunday, who'd be safe, who was out. We kind of knew coming in what the names were, the teams, Arizona, Cleveland, Tennessee was going to make some moves. But the one everybody wasn't sure of was Harbaugh in Baltimore. We're like, maybe they'll give him an out just because of the injuries. No outs. John Harbaugh, you saw it. It's on the page. It's on the short on Specialty Media. John Harbaugh is out as the Ravens head coach, because we know the Raiders made a move with Pete Carroll too. But out as Ravens head coach. 18 seasons there, Super Bowl champion, been to AFC championship games a couple times, good divisions there in the North, battles. Great coach for that team, and end of an era in Baltimore because, obviously they had, Brian Billick forever, and then they went to Harbaugh, and that's pretty much been their only two coaches in franchise history.
Jimmy, you nailed it. 3 head coaches in history. They started with some guy named Tom Archibald, I forgot who was. He was only there for 2 years, and then Billick was the coach for a long time.
Cleveland regime when they came originally.
Yeah. He only spent 2 seasons as a head coach before they went to Billick, and since Billick's been gone, Harbaugh's been there since 2008. And you're right, end of an era, 18 years. Going into that final game, people were kind of saying whoever loses this game between Tomlin and Harbaugh, with their respective teams thinking about letting them go and changing things up, because 18 years is a long time to be anywhere. Unless you're like Bill Belichick or Andy Reid, sometimes the message just is no longer getting through. The playoff failure after failure after failure. I know he's got the Super Bowl, but apparently it was just too much for the team to keep him around. Supposedly he wanted to keep his offensive coordinator, Todd Monken, which was a point of contention.
For me because Todd Monken, who came in from Georgia, had this high-flying Georgia offense that won back-to-back national championships, who relied heavily on the run game with their running backs there. Because I watch a lot of college football. A lot of guys know I watch a lot of college football. He completely changed his offensive scheme when he got to Baltimore and allowed Lamar to throw And you got Derrick Henry. That was the problem I had with this, is you got Derrick Henry, you didn't run the football with him. In big moments, you didn't run the football.
And one of the key moments of the game this past weekend that people are pointing to was that they had one timeout in their back pocket, and instead of running with Derrick Henry to get a couple extra yards for your kicker, they decided to just take a knee and lose 2 yards and set up the 47-yard field goal for Tyler Loop, who completely went wide right. So it made no sense, and people point to that as you clearly botched. You could have got a couple extra yards with Derrick Henry, make it an easier kick, and they didn't do it.
He breaks one.
Yeah, or he breaks one, because early in the game, again, the game plan was smart. What they did against the Packers the week before, hand the ball off to Derrick Henry, let him do the work, and they kind of got away from it once again later in the game. Once the Steelers were able to kind of figure it out and stop him, they kind of got away from it, and I don't know, like, we didn't see a lot of that all year long, and that has to fall on the head coach, unfortunately.
And the offensive coordinator. I think
the offensive coordinator
is going to be gone too.
Yeah, and look, I'll say this. I'll say I'm shocked. I was a little shocked, but I also was not shocked. Because,
I think there's been this narrative in the media too, and a lot of Ravens fans have been texting me that I know who say, you put that little nugget in there about Lamar and Harbaugh butting heads. And he said, well, it may not be true. It may be a media thing. Regardless of what it was, it felt like it was either going to be Lamar or Harbaugh. Like, if Harbaugh stayed, Lamar might go.
Right. Lamar just clearly wouldn't talk about it. It's not something he wanted to talk about as soon as the season ended. But I'm sure more will come out on that eventually. And I did talk to one Ravens fan as well who said one was tired of Harbaugh's act and was ready to see him go. Another one said that he loved John Harbaugh as a human being, the influence he had on the team, how good of a coach he was to the players, but not surprised that he got let go finally, because clearly the message wasn't going through anymore. And the success was too much for the team to say, hey, we could keep you on. You're going to keep losing these playoff games. I mean, I think he was only 2 games above 500 in the playoffs.
13-11.
Yeah, right. Despite the Super Bowl win, that's just not going to be something.
Ago now.
Yeah, we're talking a long time ago, 2012, over a decade ago.
That was his brother's first stop in the NFL.
Exactly. That was against his brother with the Niners. So, and look, the Ravens also have just gone through so many heartbreaks. I had a list of them somewhere, but missed field goals. The Bengals knocking them out of the playoffs on the final week of the season a couple years back. Now the Steelers doing it to them. There's been heartbreak after heartbreak, wide right after wide right, fumbles. Zay Flowers, the fumble against the Chiefs. How many of the Isaiah Likely missed touchdown by a toe in the back of the end zone? The Mark Andrews drop 2-point conversion against the Bills last year. We could just name heartbreak after heartbreak after heartbreak, and eventually enough is enough, and the team's got to say, oh, we're going in a new direction, and this is what we're doing.
It was classy on the owner to put out what he put out about Harbaugh, and Harbaugh responded with a letter, and I think, and it sounded like it was a difficult decision, but they're going to go in another direction, and I quote tweeted and I said this is something the Yankees can learn a lesson from, too, because, Steinbrenner is keeping on Cashman and keeping on Aaron Boone, and, I don't care what Cashman did. He hasn't won the World Series since 2009.
Right.
So
exactly.
If John Harbaugh can get fired, Ryan Cashman can be let go. I'm sorry. He can't.
Eventually, look, everybody's going to have their last day on the job in the NFL, right? I think Bill Parcells used to say it. You're coaching now, but you're going to have your last day on the job also. And it's not going to last forever. One day, Mike Tomlin's not going to be there anymore. Look, and this is also a testament to the Steelers and the Ravens that they've, in the last 30-plus years, they've only had 3 head coaches, in their
division.
And look, winning records every year and playoff appearances. I mean, what more can you ask for? There's franchises like our buddy Justin, who continuously talks about how he just wants to see the Jets do well, that would trade places in a heartbeat. Yeah, there's been playoff failures and heartbreaks, but he'd rather have that than what he's dealing with as a Jets fan. That's why, as a Niners fan, I don't take it for granted any playoff run we get, because you got to make the most of it. So at some point, your last day on a job is going to happen, and that's what happened here, right?
And look, Harbaugh immediately jumps to me, and we texted this over the weekend, and I quote tweeted Adam Schefter after talking to some people. The Giants are going all in on John Harbaugh. All in.
Well, look, this changed. So I've been seeing some of these tweets that came out as soon as he was fired. He was immediately contacted by all 6 teams that had head coaching openings. Apparently, a 7th mystery team also reached out. My guess is going to be the Jets, because if you're the Jets and you're seeing this happening, how are you still sticking with Aaron Glenn? I don't know. But there is a team that was out there that also currently has a coach that reached out to Harbaugh's agent. So within 30 minutes, he had offers for interviews from every opening. And the Giants, who are due to have Kevin Stefanski come in tomorrow, I'm sure did not expect John Harbaugh to be available. And now teams are scrambling to get him in for an interview. And this is what's going to happen. This is going to shake everything up, because I thought Stefanski would be the shoe-in until earlier this afternoon when John Harbaugh got let go.
I told you over the weekend that if John Harbaugh got fired, the Giants are going to go after him. He would be immediately at the number 1 priority for the New York Giants. As much as I think, look, I don't dislike Kevin Stefanski. I'd like to see him outside of Cleveland, because the ownership there is just too handsy, and they screwed him up with the Deshaun Watson signing and trade and whatever. And then you're not sold on Shador, but you are sold on Shador, and you take another quarterback before. Maybe Stefanski could do something in New York, but John Harbaugh is a culture changer. Changer. Both brothers are culture changers.
He reminds me of a Tom Coughlin type hire. That's what you would get. Like you said, culture builder, culture changer, whatever you want to call it. It's a guy that's going to bring accountability and leadership to a franchise that sorely needs it. Cam Scadaboo had some comments to make, and he said whoever the next head coach is has to come in there and be a leader and take accountability and just put their foot down, right? So they need kind of that Tom Coughlin authoritarian type of guy. Harbaugh has that, but he's also a player's coach as well. He's that fine blend where he's great with his players, but he can also put the accountability and the leadership. And the Giants will be silly to not obviously go all in on him. I think there's only 3 options for the Giants. It's going to be obviously Harbaugh, number 1. Stefanski's getting the interview tomorrow. And look, Mike McCarthy's still out there. Hasn't been talked about a lot. But here's an interesting thing here. Put Mike McCarthy's resume next to John Harbaugh's. It's very similar. They both have a Super Bowl. It's the same resume. They both have the same amount of 11-win seasons, the same amount of similar playoff wins. Both have a championship.
You know who's another guy?
For a long time.
You know who's another guy I throw on that list, short list for the Giants? The guy who's getting an interview in Tennessee, Jason Garrett.
Jason Garrett, another guy who's been out of the game for a while now, right? So this is an interesting one. I did see that. This is a guy that there's some guys out there that have been away from the game a little bit. How are they going to come back and adjust to the game? Garrett showed his success with the Dallas Cowboys. That would be an interesting one right there. I just don't think the fan base would be into that at all.
No, I'm saying he'll get an interview most likely, but I think it's Harbaugh or bust. It's Harbaugh, Stefanski, McCarthy in that order.
Bust.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think the fan base will accept anything else.
Well, no one, we know this area. If they don't get John Harbaugh, then everybody's just going to go out of their mind.
Right, and John Mara has talked about, look, it's an urgent thing for him to win, right? I mean, we know what's going on with his health issues. So
Harbaugh's the guy then?
That's the guy. That's the guy. It makes too much sense because we've seen what Harbaugh can do with a Lamar Jackson. We got to bring in a good offensive coordinator, and you got to bring in a good defensive coordinator as well. But I think John Harbaugh brings a stability that at least you have a competent guy running the show and the ship that can get things in line, and I think that's the guy.
Get everybody in line.
And it's one of the more attractive jobs, Jimmy.
I think it's. You asked me this off air. What the most attractive job is? It's this. Yeah. It's the Giant one. I'm not trying to be a homer. I'm being honest. If you really look talent on the roster, that's the most attractive job. And now the Ravens job is open. That's also an attractive job. So if I'm Kevin Stefanski and this doesn't work out with the Giants here now because of Harbaugh, go in the division. Baltimore is a great opening right there for you. If you're Kevin Stefanski. Well, our buddy Andy McNamara wrote an article today about how Stefanski and the Ravens, if they had moved on from Harbaugh, would be a good addition.
So there we go. I mean, Andy said it right there. So he's in the know with all the Cleveland Browns stuff. So I think that would be a great addition for them.
I think that's
and I'll say this.
Fit.
Yeah. I think it's a great fit. And I know this is going to sound odd. It's a little dysfunctional there, but talent-wise, draft pick-wise, and money-wise, the Raiders are an interesting team for some coaches because they got great playmakers with Brock Bowers, Ashton Genty, and the number 1 pick, and they got money and they got other draft picks. I think that would be an interesting team for a head coach that could go in there and make some changes.
So all I'm going to say about the Raider job is we have issues with the Raider job.
Yeah.
And it starts with the guy in the booth for Fox. Because if he's going to be part of the coaching search, then he has to get out of the booth.
Right. Well, the NFL's allowing it, though. So.
Right, and they want it. Like, the NFL wants it, NFL is allowing it, but it's a complete conflict of interest.
Definitely. Oh, it definitely is. And this is why we've heard teams are a little hesitant to give Brady information when he's covering the games. He's not allowed to be in on the conference calls.
It's not like Troy Aikman's a consultant for the Dolphins, or this one's a consultant. Right. He's an owner, part owner, and now
minority owner,
and now has decisions on bringing in the next coach.
Absolutely. Look, it's a conflict of interest. I totally agree. But the NFL clearly is okay with allowing this. And if Brady's going to be the guy in there making those decisions, don't be surprised if he brings in some of his former guys. Like if a Josh McDaniels that's right now currently with New England and Vrabel becomes available, Brady's going to bring guys in that he knows. So I could totally see that. I've already heard Robert Saleh with the Niners. We know he had his run with the Jets. The Cardinals are reaching out to him for a head coaching interview.
If I'm the 49ers, I make a play to keep Saleh at least one more year.
Oh, we have to, because the reason he came back was to get another chance at it with Bosa and Warner and those guys. Both guys got hurt early. If I'm Saleh, I want to run it back one more time with those guys. I got 5 games with them. So Saleh, pay this man kind of like the Lions did with Ben Johnson to keep him that extra year. Pay Saleh some money to stick around one more year at least.
And look, I was surprised Gannon got let go in Arizona, to be honest.
I mean, Jimmy, I'm gonna say I'm not. Okay, it's hard. I'm gonna say I'm not, because the Cardinals, I think, underachieved for the talent that they have on the team, and that starts with the head coach.
I get it, but I go back to they take Josh Rosen and then they immediately take Kyler Murray.
Right, and that's when they had the Steve Wilkes 1-year run, and they immediately the ownership there and the GM there. That's another team that doesn't know what they're doing personnel wise. So if they bring in a stable head coach, the Cardinals have the talent there available to them to make some moves. It's a tough division you're going to be in, but they have the ability to compete there in the NFC. So that's one of the nicer jobs, I think. Cleveland, I don't know how many people are going to be excited to go there.
Well,
to be on. And Tennessee, Jason Garrett is getting the interview there, like you said. Tennessee is a big-time rebuild project that's going to take years to get out of.
But again, I say this with the team, right? Again, if you expect Tennessee to compete for the division next year, then you're sadly mistaken. You got to get a coach in there that's going to grow with this team and allow to be grow to this team and not change Cam Ward's offense over every year. And not allow him to develop. And I don't think Cam Ward's a great quarterback by any means, but you can't change his offense over every year.
And how about your Atlanta Falcons, Jimmy? That's actually an attractive job too, because
I thought I'm going to say this about Rick Forrest.
I was surprised there.
His job with the run they went on to close the year.
So did I. They fired the GM too. So it seems like Arthur Blank just took control of his team back from what was going on there. And part of it, I guess, is giving Cousins that big-time contract and then drafting Michael Penix. Remember that
Arthur Blank's, and that was Arthur Blank's call.
No, was it? Because I remember that infamous video of the GM trying to explain to Arthur Blank, this is why we took Michael Penix. I think that's why they got let go, because I think Arthur Blank had no clue about it.
Well, I know Arthur Blank wanted Kirk Cousins. That I know.
Yeah. So he said, we got Cousins. Why are we drafting Michael Penix 8? He gave him a couple years, and now he's like, forget it, didn't work out. So he's moving on now. Atlanta's going to be an attractive job too.
I think Atlanta's one of the more attractive jobs in the NFL right now, just
because that division's wide open.
Well, that and the talent that they have there, because Bijan Robinson's a monster back there.
And Drake London's a great receiver, and Michael Pitts is a great tight end.
So they have some talent there in Atlanta. That one I was surprised about, but I wasn't. But the way they closed the season, I was like, maybe it gets worse. But I will say this, because I don't want to contradict myself, because people will find the clips. And if you're going to make the move, then do it now. Because if you start slow and then you fire, it's like, yeah, you should just fire them anyway. So I get it. But I thought Raheem Morris deserved at least one more year.
Agreed there. I was surprised. I thought he saved his job. So there's a ton of openings. This is, I think, going 10 or 12 years running that at least 5 head coaching jobs are open at the end of the year. This is like an ongoing thing in the NFL. What have you done for me lately?
I wouldn't be shocked. If more teams that have head coaches right now reach out to Harbaugh's agent.
Oh, look. He's already been contacted by 6 of 7 teams, and there's a mystery team that has a head coach. This is according to reports.
Like, if there's like a couple more teams that have head coaches, but like let's just hear what they got to say, right? Let's see if they're interested. Speculation on my part, because you know what my hot take was at the beginning of the year when it came to coaches.
Yeah.
Say the Buffalo Bills lose to Jacksonville wild card weekend.
Right. Yeah. Sean McDermott on the hot seat, you said, right?
Right. Like,
yeah.
Why wouldn't, if I'm John Harbaugh, why wouldn't I wait until wild card weekend's over to see what else opens?
You're absolutely right. I did not even factor in the teams that are currently in the playoffs. If they're not feeling good about how things turn out for them in the playoffs, how patient are they going to be? Are they going to let go? And Buffalo's probably at the top of the heap with that, right? Because I don't think any of the other coaches are really Tomlin. I think I don't think he's going to go anywhere now.
With Pittsburgh, Tomlin and Pittsburgh mutually part.
Right. Yeah, but I think you're right. So it would be.
I think he's good because they don't fire coaches.
Yeah, I think he's good. If there is a team, it's going to be Buffalo because maybe they're saying, all right, we wasted the golden opportunity for Josh Allen. Sean McDermott, you're out of here, right? So that's probably it.
Like, at some point, they got to do it, right? Like, at some point, the Bills got to win. And it's
What about Green Bay earlier this year?
Another one, man. LaFleur
was on the hot seat mid-season, right? You said it, I think. You were like, hey, right now, LaFleur, I'm not liking what's going on. What if Green Bay's one and done here, and they're like, hey, Harbaugh's available. Let's bring him in. Yeah, you're right. If I'm Harbaugh, you wait then. You wait till maybe after the Super Bowl to decide, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, this isn't college where you have to go recruit right away and stuff like that, but still.
I think they changed the rule. These coaches now, if they're in the playoffs, they can't take the interviews until after they're eliminated.
Right. But I'm saying, what if, like, just say, for instance, what if Buffalo loses? Which is a high probability because the Jaguars can run the football. Buffalo's run defense isn't great. Trevor Lawrence playing really well. Like, there's a possibility Sean McDermott's let go after this weekend.
Food for thought right there. I didn't even think about that.
Like, again, I have not talked to anybody. There's no sources saying anything. But again,
we're spitballing here.
But spitballing and speculative, which we always like to do, and it's not the right thing to do, but you start putting things together and pieces in place. Harbaugh with Buffalo, with Josh Allen, with that.
It's the nature of the business, Jimmy. You're absolutely right. Guys don't last too long, and if they are there for a long time, if they haven't had the results or the success, there's another guy waiting to take your job. So
think about this one. My final thought on the coaching carousel. Think about this. Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson had this most successful run in Dallas franchise history since Landry. And Jimmy Johnson got fired because he butted heads with the owner.
Right. It's like Jim Harbaugh with the Niners.
Right. So, Sean McDermott's had plenty of time to get the Buffalo Bills to the Super Bowl and win.
He's had plenty of time, and nothing has come to fruition yet.
Sometimes the message gets lost.
Yeah, and that's what happened here with John Harbaugh, man. I mean, look, I'm very excited now. This kind of just, it's already an exciting playoffs and an exciting year, and now the coaching carousel is going to be even more exciting than it's ever been with the firing of John Harbaugh.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I think about this one right now. Like, I just think what a great year in the NFL, right? With so much parity. Like, it's unbelievable. The final week of the season determined so much this year. Like, it was the seeding was on the line. The number one, like Seattle and Niners, like that number one seed in the NFC was on the line. Divisional races, just like the Bucks Carolina game had to come down to what happened in the Saints Falcons game. Like,
unbelievable.
Just everything you wanted about this year, which was perfect with the parity. I could do this every year. As much as we want a dominant team, I could do this every year.
Jimmy, that's what I wanted to say too. If I'm going to put my bow on the 2025 season, the last couple of years, and I talked about it on the program before, a lot of people have said, hey, the NFL product has become a little boring, stale. Defenses are catching up to offenses. We don't see the big impact plays anymore. We're coming off a mini dynasty malaise of the Chiefs, kind of like how people got Patriots fatigue. We got Chiefs fatigue, right? And the last couple of years have been kind of like, we know who's going to be there at the end. It's going to be Kansas City, probably Philly. The Niners got there. They lost. I mean, it's ho-hum every single year. This year, I could just rattle off some of these games. Like you said, Week 18 came down to the Steelers and Ravens in one of the most exciting games of the year. The fourth quarter saw 4 lead changes. We had touchdown, missed extra point, missed field goal, excitement to the max. We had that game. We had the week before with the Niners and Bears. We had Caleb Williams, the last play of the game with the Niners. We had the Jaguars and the Chiefs earlier this year. We had the Packers and the Bears on the night of we were out celebrating my birthday. We had the Seahawks and Rams, the 30-14 comeback by Seattle. We had the Bills and Ravens kicking it off. We had that week we were coming back from Toronto with all those missed field goals, right? That turned into game winners by the Bucks, by the Eagles over the Rams. We had the Bengals-Bears game, that 45-41 finish. There's a number of games here that I'm naming. Oh, that game in the snow between Buffalo and Cincinnati, which was awesome. Right, Carolina and the Saints had an exciting game. The Giants and the Cowboys back in week 3, that back and forth game with Russell Wilson. How about the Giants and the Broncos? Another exciting game. So how many games did I just list there that the NFL had, and it was all down to the wire, came down to last-minute kicks, last-minute touchdowns? If I had to put a bow on this season, I'd say parity was great for the NFL this year because it led to a lot of exciting games, a lot of exciting finishes, and so much was on the line on that final week that the Seahawks putting their stamp and saying, hey, look, the Niners might be hot, but our defense is dominant. Shut down that offense, an offense that had been scoring 30-plus a game, held to 3 points. The Niners.
And Darnold didn't really have a great game either.
No, he didn't. And that's upsetting as a Niners fan because as bad as I said the defense has looked, they held Seattle to 16. The Niners had 3 or 4 key plays there that cost them the game. It was the near fumble recovery when Darnold fumbled. It was the 3rd and 17 conversion, which was a backbreaker. And then the ball tipped off CMC's hand when he's going in to score and the interception. And then Seattle salted the game away. So the Niners had their opportunities. Seattle defense was just way better. It was getting in their faces. So I got to give them credit. And you're right, Darnold didn't play great. No. So the Rams got some juice back against the Cardinals. They're going to be a tough out. Now they're going to Carolina again. This game, we'll talk about the playoffs and whatnot, but that's my bow on this season. Parity leads to exciting games, leads to things meaning more, and later in the season, games mean more. So I thought this was an overall great bounce-back season for the NFL, coming off the malaise of the mini dynasty and people saying that these games are boring.
Right, exactly. And look, like, it's just, Broncos look good. Like, a lot of teams. Like, I don't understand why the Eagles rested so many guys when you were playing for 2 seed. Like, I don't get it. Like,
oh, yeah. There's a lot to say about that. Sirianni's probably getting crap on Philly Sports Talk Radio because with the Bears losing to Detroit, the 2 seed was there for the taking for the Eagles. You'd much rather play the Green Bay Packers than the 49ers. Perhaps Sirianni's saying, you know what, we don't care who we play. Let's just be healthy. I get it. But now if the Eagles lose to the 49ers, he's going to be questioned relentlessly on why he didn't go for that 2 seed at the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get it. And look, that's another one that when you can bring this back to Harbaugh. Like,
Yeah, right.
how many times has Sirianni been on a hot seat with this team?
He has, and he's the Super Bowl champ. He's been in 2 Super Bowls, but think about that. He's on a hot seat too.
So, I mean, it's just so much parity. Everything's so close. And I think that's why, like, if you look at the NFL season as a whole, like, you could just say it started from the beginning. Like, the Chargers.
From week 1, the opening night game.
Yeah. Like, the first game, like, the Cowboys almost beat the champs.
Yeah. And then the first Sunday night game with the Ravens and the Bills. You're right. You're right. The Cowboys almost beat the Eagles on opening night. You're right.
And then the Chargers kind of set the tone for that division, that Friday game against the Chiefs. And then it was just like, okay, here we go. Like, this is what it's going to be this year. And it's been great. And it feels like, because Carolina just beat the Rams at times. They beat some good teams. Like, the Jags beat the Chiefs, beat the Broncos. Like, these teams are not that far apart when we really think about it.
They're not, and this is why I think the playoffs are going to be very exciting. No game is going to be over until it's over. It's going to be must-watch for every single game on the docket, I feel like.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. And speaking of the playoffs, I mean, we got to look at it. I mean, Super wild card weekend this year. Obviously, we got the college football playoff leading right into it, which is going to be unbelievable. But you kick it off at Rams-Panthers rematch, and that's going to be a good game. It's hard to beat a team twice. We've said it for how many times. It's hard to beat a team twice. And I think the Rams are out for revenge.
Absolutely. They got their juice back against Arizona. They're going to be the most dangerous team in the NFC. I think they take care of business in Carolina.
And we get the third time this season, Bears, Packers. First 2 games were absolute instant classics. I expect nothing less. Nothing.
Rubber. Same here. Rubber match. We know Foot. We're pulling for him. But, hey, man, anything can happen in that game because the Bears, for the great season they've had these last 2 weeks, lost both games, haven't been good. So it's going to be a toss-up. I mean, look, Green Bay, Jordan Love took the week off to get healthy. We'll see what happens.
I think it's just the thing that hurts them is no Micah.
Yeah, look, defensively the Packers are hurting, but the Packers have a history as the 7 seed to surprising some people. So
I mean, would I be shocked if the Packers won?
No, I wouldn't be shocked.
No,
I feel like when they beat Dallas as a 7 seed, Dallas was a way better team than Chicago is. So we'll see.
And I mean, look, this is the game I'm really looking forward to on Sunday. Like, I really am. Bills and Jags. Like, that to me is the game of the weekend for me. Because the Jags have already taken down Kansas City and Denver, and they beat some good teams along the way too. This is a big game for the Bills. Like I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, Bills are going to pull an upset." Are you really sleeping on the AEW Jags? Have you not been watching what the AEW Jags have been doing?
Don't sleep on them. 8 straight wins to close out the year. Division champs. First-time head coach Trevor Lawrence. The defense. Don't sleep on these guys. Like you said, Bills, big-time game. And this is the hardest game of the weekend to pick for me, personally, out of all the games. So I'm very excited to see what happens with this one too, man.
Look, I mean, they got to get Cook running, but the Jags' run defense is so good.
Yeah. That's and the Bills' run defense is not good. So Travis, I have a coworker, shout out to Mike, big Bills fan, grew up in Western New York, around that area. Loves the Bills, but he always tells me this is the problem with them defensively. There's always some kind of issue, and McDermott's side of the ball is defense, and the run defense hasn't been up to par this year. So if the Jags are going to kill him, it's going to be on the ground with Travis Etienne.
And they've been doing that to teams the last 8 weeks.
Correct.
And look, again, everybody's said Denver was a measuring stick game. The Jags defense outplayed Denver's defense in that game.
Absolutely did. Yeah, in Denver. In Denver.
So don't sleep on the Jags. I'm just saying, don't sleep on the AEW Jags.
We're not. We can't sleep on those guys. Absolutely not. They're all elite, man.
The all elite Jags, baby. Yo, your Niners going to Philadelphia, minus Fred Warner and Bosa.
Minus everybody, because now the 2 linebackers that were the replacements are hurt. D. Winters is out. Tatum Bethune is out. So we're going to our 4th string linebacker, and they just signed a guy off the couch. So it can't get any worse on the linebacking core. So it's me and Drew, and I'm texting Drew, and I'm saying 2 years ago when we had this matchup, we were both talking crap, and we both felt really good about our teams. This year, it's completely opposite. I love what the Niners have done, to get to this point, but I felt like they blew a golden opportunity. They really needed that bye week, and I just don't feel good about that defense. I know the Eagles offensively have not been up to snuff this year, but I think they could turn it on at any point, and this is just a bad matchup. I feel like Saquon Barkley's finally going to have a breakout game. It's going to be in this game. I feel like Hurts and those guys can turn it on at any point. And Purdy and those guys for the Niners, they're really going to have a master class of a game to keep up with what the Eagles are probably going to do on offense. So, and Drew doesn't feel good about the Eagles because of the poor offensive play calling all year, the inconsistencies. Yeah, the defense has been good, but perhaps the Niners can find some holes here. So I don't feel good about the matchup, but I'm not going to put it past Shanahan that he's pissed off about what happened against Seattle and him busting out a really good game plan. I just don't know if the pieces that are there on defense now can keep up.
Look, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. We thought the Rams were going to kill him in the first game, and the Niners.
We did, yeah.
And the Niners came out and played a really good game. I'm not sold on the Eagles this year because their offense has been so inconsistent. I don't know what Eagles team is going to show up. If it's the Eagles team that, steamrolled some teams, all right, then the Niners don't have a chance. But if their offense isn't going to click, it's like Alabama. Which Alabama team is going to show up? Well,
right.
If their offense isn't going to show up and Jalen's holding on the ball too long and he's trying to just find everybody, this is going to be a problem.
Yeah. It should be. Their game plan should be Barkley. Let's see if they stick to that, or are they going to try to make it be cutesy with these passes? Let's see what they do.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun game to watch for me. I think that'll definitely be a fun game to watch. Yeah. Chargers and Patriots is going to be a good game because let me tell you something. I know Vrabel and the Pats, they look good. Something tells me there's always an upset this weekend.
Jim Harbaugh?
Yeah, Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers could go in there and win the game.
Yeah, I think I still like the Pats, but they really haven't had a test, of a top team this year. So I wouldn't put it past Jim Harbaugh and Herb. They rested their guys this past week, so I wouldn't put it past them to shock the world. Because as good as the Pats have been, they're an inexperienced bunch going into the playoffs as well. So
I know what Harbaugh can do in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I know what he's done in college.
Yeah.
He likes to.
And maybe Herbert's got revenge on his mind.
Good defense. Like.
It should be an interesting one.
Yeah, it's going to be. And then Texans Steelers. I think Texans going to win that game. I'll be honest. I think Texans going into Pittsburgh and winning the game. I know you gave me the stat they don't lose on Monday night. But.
Yeah. It's crazy.
This isn't the Ravens defense. This isn't the Ravens defense.
Yeah, this is a championship defense that Houston has. I know they're traveling. They're going on the road outdoors, Pittsburgh. But I think Pittsburgh emotionally is probably spent after this game, right? They took everything out of him. I know, look, for all the crap we give Aaron Rodgers, it's fun to watch the all-time greats.
Great year for him.
No, and we'll say this. It's still fun to watch the all-time greats play out the string at the end. It's kind of like, look, I was never a big A-Rod guy. I liked watching the end of his career. I wasn't a Yankees fan. I loved watching Jeter. I wasn't a big Kobe guy. I loved watching the end of his career. So I'll say this. It's still fun to see if the all-time greats can be great more time. What's that country song, Jimmy? I'm not great as I once was, but I was great once.
I wasn't as good as I once was, but I'm as good as I ever was. However, in Aaron Rodgers' case, he hasn't done crap in the playoffs in a long time.
No, but he's grateful that he's going to be there. So will they shock anybody? I don't think so. They get DK Metcalf back. I just don't think I think Houston's going to be too much.
Houston's D is just relentless.
Yeah, that's the problem. 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers, he was trying to run for first downs and he couldn't get them. So I don't know.
Look, in the playoffs, you win at the line of scrimmage. Houston wins at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football. That's all I'm going to say.
You're right. And Jimmy, look, okay, we did our preseason picks for the playoffs and who we think is going to win. Let's go through the bracket. I'm going to start with you. I'm going to write everything down. We're starting fresh. This is fresh. Doesn't matter what you pick before the year. We're just going from right now. So look, give it to me with the AFC, the Jags and the Bills. Who do you got?
AW Jags are going to win.
All right, Jags move on. Steelers, Texans, I think from what you just said, Texans, right?
I got Texans.
All right, and then do you feel an upset brewing, the Chargers and the Patriots?
Man, I want to be bold with this, and I'm going to kick myself in the pants if I go New England. But I'm going to say Harbaugh and the Chargers go in and win.
That's awesome. I love that. We'll stay. All right, so then we'll stay here. That would put the Broncos as the 1 seed playing the 7 seed, the Chargers, in the divisional round. Who do you got winning there?
Probably the Broncos.
All right, Broncos going to the title game. And then that would mean the Texans and the Jags, an AFC battle in the divisional round. Who wins that one? Jags and Texans. That'll be a phenomenal game, too.
That's a phenomenal game. I'm going to go with the Jags.
I love that. All right, so Jags and Broncos in the AFC Championship, Jimmy. Who do you got going to the Super Bowl?
Denver. I would take that. I think the run.
Man, I was hoping you would go all elite to the Super Bowl, man.
I don't think so, man.
All right, Denver. All right, so we got Denver. All right, NFC side of things. Let's go with the 2-7 Bears versus the Packers.
Oh, man. I'll go with the Bears. I'm just not sold on the Packers right now.
All right, Bears. All right, Niners.
To Minnesota.
Yeah, Bears haven't looked too good, man. I mean, the Packers haven't looked too good either. All right, Niners going into Philadelphia.
Man, I think Philly wins the game.
Okay, Philly. So you got the Bears and the Philly Eagles, and then we got the Rams going into Carolina, right?
Man, Rams winning.
All right, so that would put. So then that would make in the divisional rounds the Seattle Seahawks with the 1 seed playing in a rubber match with the Rams. What a matchup that would be. Who do you got there? Seattle, Rams, round 3. Who you got?
I go with
Can the Rams get back the demons where they lost?
I think the Rams win because I'm still not sold on Sam Darnold in the playoffs.
I love it. Okay.
Even though when we have a new pope, the Seattle Seahawks somehow get to the Super Bowl.
I saw that stat. It's very weird.
Very weird.
And then the Eagles got to go to Chicago because they didn't play for the 2 seed. Who you got winning there?
Yo, Bears knock them off again.
So you got the Bears winning here.
Yeah.
So in the NFC title game, Bears hosting the Rams. Who you got going to the Super Bowl?
Rams going to Super Bowl.
Rams Broncos in the Super Bowl. Who's your champ, Jimmy?
LA. Got the title.
LA Rams. There it is. And look, we're going to do this every week. When we get to the next round, we'll change it up again. So right now, Jimmy's got the LA Rams over the Denver Broncos in the Super Bowl. That would be
a phenomenal Super Bowl. I'm not going to lie.
It would be because I'd love to see that offense against that defense. I'd be excited for that. All right, so I'll run through it quick because I know we're pressed against for time. So I'm gonna go. Man, I want to see the Jags advance, but I'm gonna take the Bills.
That's fine. We could be different.
Yeah, I think the Texans are gonna smack the Steelers. Sorry, Jordan. Texans over the Steelers, and I think the Pats are gonna beat the Chargers.
That's fine. We're different. I don't care.
So we're gonna do. So that means Denver as the 1 would be playing Buffalo, and I think Buffalo is going to run into too much here. I think Denver beats Buffalo. Texans going to the Patriots and be a good one. I think the Patriots win that. So I'm going to get the Pats. I'm getting the Pats and the Broncos in the AFC title game, Jimmy. And I think the New England Patriots are going to get to the Super Bowl. I just have a feeling that the Pats get to the AFC title game. I mean, to the Super Bowl.
Well, if the Pats stay all the way, if the Pats somehow have the AFC title game at home, they're usually money there.
Yeah, I mean, look, it would be Pats at Broncos. I just feel like give me Drake May's play over Bo Nix this year. That's what I'll say on that.
Yeah,
I just think Drake May's been playing really well. All right, NFC side of things, Bears Packers is so tough for me. I want to say the Packers are going to upset the Bears. But I think the Bears will win that one. Look, I don't think look, I want to put the Niners to go all the way, but I'm not going to do it here. I don't feel good about the matchup, but there's something in me that I can't pick the 49ers to lose right in the first round. So I'm going to go Niners over the Eagles, being a homer with that one. And then the other matchup is the Rams and the Panthers. I think the Rams win that, right?
Yeah.
All right, so that's going to set up the Niners going back to Seattle. And, man. I can't pick, Jimmy, I can't pick the Seahawks to beat the 49ers. So, so the 49ers beat the Seahawks. I think the Rams beat the Bears. And then this is where I think that the run ends for the Niners here. Unfortunately, I hate to say it against a division rival, but I think the Rams are just too good of a team, man.
Yeah.
And the Rams smacked the Niners the last time they played. So Rams over Niners, NFC title game. Here's an old school Super Bowl: Rams and Patriots for the third time.
That since 2001.
No, well we saw it with Goff against Brady.
We did. Yeah.
So I'm going to go with the New England Patriots, Mike Vrabel, Drake May, New England Patriots, Super Bowl champs. Give it to me, the Pats, baby. So we'll go back to these as the playoffs progress and see what happens here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, this has been our NFL section of the Nightcap recap. It's going to be a little bit longer this week. We're going to go to a break, come back, hit some things on the other side. Real quick, hurry up on the other side for you guys. And we'll be back. Stay tuned for more.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Practice. Now there's a fragrance that puts it all on the line. Arrogance. Whether it's a forehand, a backhand, every shot's a winner because women, Navrata, love it. Arrogance for men will make you the number one seed. One shot, and you'll be in the royal box. I don't love that.
We're back on a reset here in a Nightcap recap. Obviously, episode still dedicated to Mrs. Saplicki. Went through our NFL talk. Let's run through it real quick. College football is this week. I'm probably get a full episode out for you guys as well. But we got Miami playing Ole Miss, and we got Indiana, Oregon, a rematch. That's going to be two phenomenal games. I cannot wait for the Miami game. I think Miami's defense is going to be too much for Ole Miss. I think Miami's going to get to the title game and get back where they should be. Unlike Michael Irvin, I don't do 80 snow. Yes, I can say that here because it's my show. So no 80 snow on this program. No 80 snow. But I think Kirk Cignetti, I know it's hard to beat a team twice. I know Dan Lanning's looking for revenge, neutral field. But there's something about Mendoza and Indiana this year that says to me they're destined to be in a national championship game. They're the best team all year. Miami and Indiana would be a heck of a championship game. Two teams that are very physical. And when Miami wants to play on and not decide to take nights off, they're one of the best teams in the nation. I saw it against Ohio State. Their defense they had no answer. Ohio State had no answers for that defense. All night long, had no answers for it. And it's going to be a heck of a semifinals.
Ole Miss, who did they just beat in the last round?
The best game, by the way. If you didn't see the last episode, what was the best game of the games? What did I say, Lefty?
You said Ole Miss and
Georgia.
That's right.
What a game of the weekend.
What a game that was, man. I stayed up to watch that whole game. Don't watch a lot of college football, but what a game that was, back and forth at the very end, and you called it. That was the best game of the week.
Yeah, but you set it up for me.
I did, right? I teed it up. I said, Jimmy, tell the casual fan what you think the best matchup will be.
One game you had to watch. If any game you had to watch, what would be the one game? And I said Ole Miss and Georgia.
And you were right. And I listened to you. I said, Jim, I'm going to watch this one. That's the one I watched the entire game, and I was pleasantly surprised at how good of a game it was. A lot of fun. It's fun when you got no skin in the game.
The best two games of the weekend were Ole Miss, Georgia, Miami, Ohio State. The rest of them were bad.
And it's fun when you got no skin in the game and you're just watching and you're like, hey, man, this is fun to watch. And you're seeing some of these players that could be drafted. I loved it. And look, just watching that, I hope Ole Miss goes on a little run here, just because I hate what happened with Lane Kiffin.
I want Miami to win because I'm a Miami fan, but there's a part of me that's rooting for Ole Miss to win this thing and stick it to Lane Kiffin.
That's what I want to see. I want to see that. So,
as much as I'm a U guy, I want the U to win, but I wouldn't be disappointed because to stick it to Lane Kiffin would be pretty good.
Speaking of the U, Michael Irvin on that 90 snow.
90 snow.
For Michael, he's out of his damn mind on the sidelines, and I love it. Wait.
Breaking news. Just for fun, Lane Kiffin going to the Ravens. Just because.
They got him on speed dial, man. They got him on speed dial. He's ready to go at any moment right now.
He's gone. So, but it should be good. It's going to be good. I watched the Miami game when I was in South Florida. New Year's Eve. I watched that game with Bob Peterson and this guy Fish at his place. It was great. Awesome game. Awesome experience. Winter Classic was sick. 63 degrees. I couldn't ask for better. Fake snow. Ice conditions were great. Rangers blew them out. Unfortunately, the fans did not go home. Though I will say this, it sounded like a Rangers home game. Well, I'm not going to lie. A lot of Rangers fans.
It looked like it. It looked like there was a lot of Rangers fans there.
Shout out Rob Farian, by the way. Didn't even know you were going to the game. You were there.
I knew a couple people that were there, too. Jordan and Alex, they were at the game, sent some pictures. That was cool. I mean, hey, look, on TV, it looked awesome. We went out to watch the game with Mark, big-time Rangers fan, as we know here in the program. Awesome to see the Rangers actually dominate a game and win. So that was good.
And then they lose in Madison Square Garden.
Right. That's what they do all year, man.
Yo, take the roof off the Garden.
They dominate when there's no roofs.
Or on the road. That's what they do.
As Michael Jordan said once, the ceiling is the roof.
The ceiling is the roof. So, fun experience, great game. Then I got to go to the Panther game on Sunday against the Avs. Really good game. Talked with Kachuk, a bunch of other guys. So, it was a fun weekend. Get away from this cold weather that we're having around here.
I love it, Jimmy. Before we just touch on WWE before we get out of here, I'll say this. We didn't do a fan question, but I'll say this. This is from my buddy Mike Ackerson. He knows who he is, Mike Pensilli, big Bills fan. I'll throw this as our fan question. We'll just really quick. Josh Allen taking one snap to preserve the Iron Man streak. You're a Giants fan. Eli Manning was your guy. The guy would get injured and still play the following week. They told him on his last game, hey, come in, play a series. Gino's going to go in so you could keep the streak. He said, no, if I'm not playing the whole game, I don't, why would I do that? And he sat. So Josh Allen come in there taking one snap. What do you think about that, Jimmy? I am not a fan. It's a, dare I say, a Gen Z type thing, new age athlete type thing to do, to just take one snap and sit out to preserve a streak.
Yeah, I hate that. I don't like that. I hate that. Phil Kessel had an Iron Man streak going until he got scratched. When he got scratched, like he didn't even he played. I give Kessel credit. He played a period, then he had to go to see his wife because she was pregnant or whatever. That's different. He at least played a period. Like I'll give him a period. One snap.
Play a series. Yeah, play a series at least.
I'll give you a series. Give me a series at least. One snap. I hate it. I don't like it. Not a fan of it. Fraud. Complete fraudulent. He shouldn't even have an Iron Man streak. It should be over right now.
I'm glad that you agree because this is 2 years in a row he did it, and I love Josh Allen, one of my favorite athletes. I just think in the spirit of what that streak is supposed to be, the spirit of competition, and I just don't like it. I get it. Okay, cool. It's in the record books, but I just at least play a series or play a quarter or something like that. Give me that at least.
Yeah. I mean, you got to do that. So to me, complete fraudulent streak, complete fraudulent streak. I don't like it. Not a fan.
Speaking of fraudulent, I mean, Stranger Things themed episode of Raw. You promote this crossover event. The only thing that you really had on the show was some set pieces and some props. Nobody from the show was there. Half the audience in Brooklyn had no clue what Stranger Things was. And the whole show was terrible and flat up until it was saved by the main event by CM Punk and Braun Breaker. I think Breaker showed that he belongs in the main event picture. CM Punk, loving this version of CM Punk, the vet now, wrestling the younger guys, seeing if he can hang in there and wrestling his style. And I think Breaker's going to be the guy that will be the champ at some point this year. So save the show. Overall, though, what are we thinking with this crossover event? That is not the way you promote an event and then don't deliver on anything.
That's not how you kick off Raw in the new year. I'm sorry. That's not how you do it.
Yeah. It's not good. And too many commercial breaks in between matches. The pacing of the show is ruined that way.
Yo, get it back on the USA Network. That's it. Put
Jimmy,
Raw
that'll
back
happen.
on USA.
When this deal ends, I would not be shocked if that happens.
Well, would I be shocked if WWE or Netflix is like, you know what, maybe we can opt out at some point.
I could see that. I mean, what was this, a 5-year deal when it was signed?
Yeah, something like that.
We're about a year into it. I mean, 4 more years of this. We'll see. Look, it's all about the TV deals, so we'll see what they do.
I mean, I know the library's on Netflix now, so I get it, but
yeah. Look, Chris Jericho, they've been teasing some Easter eggs, some of the comments.
I think he'll come back at the Royal Rumble. I really do.
Yeah. So do I. I think the Rumble makes sense.
And everybody's like, oh, well, he's not going to be around for the month of February. Guess what? He's going to have a type deal.
Yeah, you don't need to be there. You appear January 31st at the Rumble. You do your thing. You show up, and then you know what? Show up at the Chamber or as we get close to Mania. That's all you need to do.
Right. I got to say this one other thing. I like the fact that like Seth Rollins is coming out and saying this Unreal thing isn't good. He wants to keep kayfabe. Paul Heyman's not a fan of it. Like,
yeah.
The behind the curtain stuff, as much as what we like it and want some behind the scenes and like we see with this NFL stuff, too much of it on the WWE side, you lose what makes the product great.
The magic, as they say, right?
And the allure and the imagination of what goes on backstage, how they come up with these matches. That stuff should be written in a book after the pro wrestling person retires.
Right. I personally like the fact that we thought Punk and Rollins hate each other. Look, they've been working together now for 2 years. We saw the first season of Unreal where Punk is laying out the finish of the Chamber and everybody's standing there. I personally enjoy thinking that, no, oh man, CM Punk and Rollins and Drew Mac really hate each other. I don't need to see them being buddy-buddy on a backstage documentary show. You know what I mean? I kind of want to keep some magic. So I agree with you on that. I'm glad some of the guys are coming out and saying this. So, look, it's all at the end of the day, what it seems like now is with this Unreal show, they're trying to even fix that up a little bit and make it be like, oh, we're kayfabing you, but they're controlling everything. They're showing us what they want us to see. So I think they're still trying to make it seem like a certain way, but it's a completely different way, and that's what they're doing here.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what happens. Looking forward to the Rumble. Can't wait for Wild Card Weekend. Can't wait for college football semifinals this week. It's going to be a lot going on. You know, NightCap recaps. You saw, we already got the Harbaugh news out right away like that. So
ahead of the game.
Ahead of the game, like always. You know, so let's nail 5 or 6 head coaching hires in college football this year. I don't know. You know,
we might know, Jimmy. We might know a thing or two. As much as people want to say something,
we might know something. We might know something.
We might.
That education opponent school taught us something.
That's right. I think it did. That's right. Absolutely, man.
So, guys, check it out. Up on Specialty Media on YouTube. Get it spitball on the audio. Jim Biringer, Teddy Repantis, NightCap recap. Also, much love to Mrs. C. Guys, take care.
We love you.